Hello everybody, Sir Beaton here, and today we will be looking at completing the square. And at the end of this video, you should be able to write the general form of the quadratic in the form a open bracket x plus h close bracket square plus k, or an equivalent form to this one that I have on screen. So the general form for a quadratic expression is ax squared plus or minus bx plus or minus c. And this is the general form. So we know if we have an expression in this form, let's say we have 2x squared minus 5x plus 3. We know this here is a quadratic expression. And for this expression, a would be equal to the number in front of the x squared term, which is 2. B would be equal to the number in front of the x term, in this case, which is negative 5. And c would be equal to the number by itself, which is 3. And this is the general form for a quadratic expression. So for completing the square, we want to change this general form into a form that they will ask you for. So when we complete the square, we want to write quadratics in this form that I have on screen, which is a open bracket x plus h close bracket square plus k. Now there is a step-by-step way in which we can complete the square, or we can use this very simple way, which is using the formulas. But the thing about using the formulas, you will have to do the thing that I really don't like to do in mathematics, which is to remember the formulas, because these formulas will not be given to you in a CSEC exam. So if you want to go down this road of using the formula method of completing the square, you will have to remember the formulas for h and k. Now here's the thing, h, you will use a formula to find h, and you will use a formula to find k, and a would simply be number in front of the x squared term. So we'll use the formula to find h, which is b over 2a, and k would be equal to 4ac minus b squared, all divided by 4a. And this is the formula that we use to find h and k. So this is the formula we want to write. We have the formula for h and k. So now let's head into some examples. So I want to write 3x squared plus 10x minus 8 in the form a open bracket x plus h close bracket squared plus k. So first thing we need to do is identify what is a, b, and c in this quadratic. So from this quadratic, we see a would be equal to, you see 3. B would be equal to, we see 10. And c would be equal to negative 8. So now we have our values for a, b, and c. So now let's get our values for h and k. So for h, we will use the formula. So b divided by 2a will give us h. So in this case, you see b is 10. So this is 10 divided by 2 times a, which is, in this case, it's just 3. So this will be 10 divided by 2 times 3 is 6. And we can break this down to have 10 divided by 2 is 5. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So it's 5 over 3 is our value for h. So the next thing we want to find is the value for k. So the formula to use to find our value for k would be 4ac minus b squared all over 4a. So we can substitute our values here to find for k. So k would be equal to 4 multiplied by a, which is 3, multiplied by c, which is negative 8, minus b squared, which is 10 squared, all divided by 4 times a, which is 3. So we work this out. 4 times 3 is 12. And 12 times negative 8 will give you a negative 96. Subtract 10 squared will give you 100. All divided by 4 times 3 is 12. So negative 96 minus 100 would give you negative 196, all divided by 12. So if you want to break this down further, 12 can go into 196 16 times. And when 12 go into 196, that will give you 192. So we'll have a remainder of 4 over 12. And of course, this has to be negative. So 4 ones 4. 4 divided by 12 is 3. So when we break this down, k will have a value of negative 16 and 1 over 3. So this will be our value for k. So now we have our value for h and we have our value for k. We can substitute that into this form. So we'll have a, and we saw a to be equal to 3. So this will be 3, open bracket, well, x will always be x, plus h, so we see h is, so plus 5 over 3, close bracket, squared, plus k. So we see plus k, which is negative 16 and 1 over 3. So this negative and positive will cancel out and give you a negative. So this will be this quadratic in that form using the formula. So all we need to do is find a value for h, find a value for k, identify what is a, and then we work it out. So let's look at another example. So this example says, write the following quadratics in the form a, open bracket, x plus h squared plus k, where h and k are constants. So once again, we identify our values for a, b, and c. So in this case, we see a will be equal to 1. We see b is equal to 14. And we see c is equal to 37. So to find our values for h and k, we'll use the formula. H is equal to b over 2a. So h will be equal to, we see b is 14 divided by 2 times a, which is 1. Hence h is equal to 14 divided by 2 is 14 divided by 2 times 1. So this is 14 divided by 2, which is 7. So h is equal to 7. So that will be our value for h. So now we can find our value for k. So the formula for k, 4ac minus b squared all divided by 4a. Hence k would be equal to 4 times a, so we see a is 1, times c, which is 37, minus b squared, which is 14 squared, all divided by 4 times 1. So hence k is equal to, so 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 37 would give us a value of 148. So 148 minus 14 squared would give us 196. 196 divided by 4 times 1 is 4. Hence k would be equal to 148 minus 196. That would give us 48. So 48 divided by 4. So 148 subtract 196 would give us a negative 48. So negative 48 divided by 4 would give us a value of k being equal to a negative 12. So our value of k is equal to a negative 12. So we have our value for h and we have our value for k. So now let's use these values and write it in this form that we wanted. So this would be a. So we found a to be 1. So we can 1, open bracket, x will always be x, plus h, which is 7 squared, plus k, which is minus 12. So the positive and the minus will cancel out and give us a minus. So this would be the answer in that form after we found our value for h and k. Now let's look at the last example. So in this example, we are switching it up a bit. We want to write the following quadratic in the form k plus a, open bracket, x plus h squared, where h and k are constant. So we do the same thing like what we did. We find our values for h and k, but first we must identify what is a, b, and c. So in this case, we see a is equal to 4. We see b is equal to negative 12, so b is equal to negative 12. And we see c is equal to a negative 5. So now that we have our values for a, b, and c, now let's find our value for h. So h would be equal to b over 2a. So hence h would be equal to b, which is negative 12, all divided by 2 times a, which is 4. So this would be negative 12, all divided by 8. So 4 into 12 would be 3. 8 divided by 4 would be 2. So this answer is negative 3 over 2. And that is our value for h. So now let's find a value for k. So we see k is equal to 4ac minus b squared, all divided by 4a. So we see k would be equal to, so it's 4 multiplied by a, which is 4, multiplied by c, which is negative 5, subtract b squared, which is negative 12 squared, all divided by 4 times a, which is 4. So this will give us 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times negative 5. 16 times negative 5 would give us negative 80. Subtract negative 12 squared would be 144, all divided by 4 times 4 is 16. So negative 80 minus 144 would give us negative 224, all divided by 16. So we divide this by 16, we will get a value of a negative 14. So our value for k would be a negative 14. So we have our value for h and we have our value for k. So now we can write it in the form. So let me use black. So the form that we want to write, it will be k. So we take our value for k, which is negative 14, plus the value for a, which is 4, open bracket, x plus h, which is negative 3 over 2. So this is negative 3 over 2. So of course these two will cancel out and give you one sign. So this is a minus 3 over 2 squared. And that is how you express that in that form. We follow the same steps in which we identify a, b, and c. And then we use those values for a, b, and c to find for h and k. And then we substitute those values that we found into the general form. And then we substitute those values into the form that we want to write the expression into, and then we write the expression in that form. So the key thing here is identify a, b, and c, and then use the formula. So you must remember the formula though before you can use this method. Or there's a following video that I will do in which I will go through the steps. But for now, this is how we do it using the formula. An easier way, as you will see when I do the video with the steps. So of course I must leave some for you to do on your own, some for you to practice on your own as homework. So as long as you can answer these questions and write it in this general form that this question is asking, you are on your way to answering these kind of questions. And these questions will go for like 3 marks in CSEC. So as long as you can do this, and as you can see, there's no big fancy magic mathematics to do. You just need to remember the formulas and you are on your way to doing well. So with that, I'll stop here and I will see you in the next video. Take care.